Good morning everyone. My name is Alya Maulida Apriliani and I'm from English Language Education. In this video, I would like to present my English vocabulary final examination project. The title of my project is American English versus British English. In this presentation, I will explain the differences between American English and British English, especially in vocabulary. I will also give examples, explain the meaning of each word pair, and review one academic article related to this topic. The article that I use is titled A Comparative Between British English and American English, Vocabulary Analysis by Fajria Novari, Yeni Maryani, and Heva Rostiana. First, I will explain the vocabulary topic. American English and British English are two major varieties of English. American English is mainly used in the United States, while British English mainly used in the United Kingdom. The important point here is that both American English and British English are correct. So, when we find two different words, it does not always mean that one is wrong. Sometimes, the difference is only about the variety of English. For example, British English uses the word flat, while American English uses apartment. Both words mean a place to live, so the meaning is the same, but the word choice is different. This topic is important in vocabulary learning because English learners often find both varieties in real life. We may hear American English in movies, songs, social media, or application. At the same time, we may also find British English in textbook, academic materials, or formal learning source. So, by understanding both varieties, learners can avoid misunderstanding and improve their vocabulary knowledge. Now, I will explain some vocabulary differences between American English and British English. Vocabulary difference means that British English and American English may use different words for the same object, place, or idea. The first example is flat and apartment. In British English, people commonly say flat. In American English, people commonly say apartment. Both words mean a place to live. For example, she lived in a small flat near campus. Or in American English, she lived in a small apartment near campus. The point that we need to notice here is that words flat and apartment, the sentence structure is almost the same, and the meaning is also the same. The only difference is the vocabulary. The second example is lorry and truck. British English uses lorry while American English uses truck. Both words mean a large vehicle used for carrying goods. For example, the lorry carried many boxes, or the truck carried many boxes. So, again, the meaning is the same, but the word choice depends on the English variety. The third example is petrol and gas or gasoline. In British English, people usually say petrol. In American English, people usually say gas or gasoline. Both refer to fuel for vehicles. For example, the car needs petrol, or in American English, the car needs gasoline. The important point here is that in American English, the word gas can mean fuel for a car. So, learners need to understand the context. The fourth example is car park and parking lot. British English uses car park while American English uses parking lot. Both mean a place to park cars. For examples, the car park is full today, or the parking lot is full today. These examples show that vocabulary differences often appear in public place, signs, maps, and direction. The fifth example is city center and downtown. British English uses city center, while American English commonly uses downtown. Both mean the central area of a city. For example, the hotel is in the city center, or the hotel is downtown. The point here is that both words refer to the same location, but they are commonly used in different varieties. Next, the sixth example is pavement and sidewalk. In British English, people say pavement. In American English, people say sidewalk. Both mean a path beside the road where people walk. For example, she walked on the pavement, or she walked on the sidewalk. The seventh example is postcode and zip code. British English uses postcode, while American English uses zip code. Both mean a code used in an address. For example, please write your postcode, or please write your zip code. The eighth example is biscuit and cookie. British English usually use biscuit, while American English uses cookie. Both can refer to a small sweet baked food. For example, I ate a biscuit with tea, or I ate a cookie with tea. Okay, next. The ninth example is holiday and vacation. British English commonly uses holiday, while American English commonly uses vacation. Both mean a period of rest or travel. For example, we are planning a holiday, or we are planning a vacation. The 10th example is lift and elevator. British English uses lift, while American English uses elevator. Both mean a machine used to go up and down floors. For example, we took the lift to the third floor, or we took the elevator to the third floor. The point that I want to emphasize is that the words are different, but the object or meaning is the same. From this example, we can see that American and British English vocabulary differences are common in daily communication. Learners need to recognize both varieties so they can understand English from different sources. Okay, next. Spelling and pronunciation differences. Besides vocabulary, American English and British English also differ in spelling and pronunciation. For spelling, British English uses words such as colors, center, and favorite. American English uses color, center, and favorite. The point here is consistency. In formal writing, learners should not mix American and British spelling too much. For example, if we choose American English, we should write color, center, and favorite. But if we choose British English, we should write color, center, and favorite. Pronunciation is also different in some words. One common difference is the R sound. In many British accents, the R sound at the end of words is often not pronounced strongly. In American English, the R sound is usually clear. This difference is important because it can affect listening comprehension. When learners listen to British or American speakers, the same word may sound different. Next, I will review the academic article used in this project. The article title is a comparative between British English and American English vocabulary analysis. The authors are Ari Fajria Novari, Yeni Maryani, and Heva Rostiana. The article was published in 2021 in the Journal of English Education Studies, Volume 4, Issue 1, page 27 to 40. This article is suitable for my project because it discusses the comparison between British English and American English, especially in vocabulary, spelling, and pronunciation. The research objective of the article is to analyze the differences between British English and American English. The researchers explain that many English learners still feel confused when they have to differentiate British English and American English. This confusion can cause misunderstanding in communication, especially for learners who study English as a foreign language. The method used in the article is qualitative content analysis. The researchers use observation and documentation as data collection techniques. The data source was Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary 9th edition. From the dictionary, the researchers analyzed 115 words. The main findings of the article show that British English and American English have three categories of differences. The first category is vocabulary differences. This means British English and American English may use different words for the same meaning. The second category is spelling differences. For example, British English uses color while American English uses color. The third category is pronunciation differences. This means the same word may be pronounced differently depending on the variety. The important point from this article is that vocabulary learning is not only about knowing the meaning of words, it also includes understanding word choice, variety, context, spelling, and pronunciation. Next, analysis of findings and relationship to vocabulary learning. Based on the article findings, I can analyze that vocabulary learning is more complex than memorizing word meanings. Learners need to understand how words are used in different contexts and varieties. A word may have the same meaning as another word, but it may be more common in certain English variety. For example, holiday and vacation have similar meanings, but refer to period of time when people rest, travel, or do not go to work or school. However, holiday is more commonly used in British English, while vacation is more common in American English. If learners know both words, they can understand English material from both British and American sources. The relationship between this article and vocabulary learning is clear. The article helps learners understand that English vocabulary has variation. This knowledge can improve reading comprehension because learners can recognize different words with the same meaning. It can also improve listening comprehension because learners become more familiar with different pronunciation. Okay, in addition, it can improve writing skill because learners become more careful and consistent in choosing vocabulary and spelling. Therefore, American versus British English vocabulary is an important topic in English vocabulary learning. It helps students expand their vocabulary knowledge, understand different English words, avoid misunderstanding, and become more aware of language variation. Personal reflection. After learning about American and British English vocabulary, I realized that English has many varieties. Before studying this topic, some learners may think that different words or spelling mean that one of them is wrong. However, after learning this topic, I understand that both forms can be correct depending on the variety. This topic helped me understand that vocabulary learning is not only about memorizing words' meaning. It is also about understanding context, variety, spelling, pronunciation, and usage. If I choose American English, I should use American spelling and vocabulary consistently. If I choose British English, I should use British spelling and vocabulary consistently. Overall, this topic is useful for me as an English learner. It helps me understand English from different sources such as books, movies, articles, and conversation. By understanding American and British English vocabulary, I can improve my vocabulary knowledge and communicate more effectively. To conclude, American English and British English are two major varieties of English, but are correct and expected. They have differences in vocabulary, spelling, and pronunciation. In vocabulary, some examples are flat and apartment, petrol and gasoline, holiday and vacation, and then lift and elevator. The main point of this presentation is that vocabulary learning is not only about memorizing words. Learners also need to understand context, variety, spelling, pronunciation, and consistency. Okay, that is all for my presentation today. Thank you for watching.